Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I'm wearing this because my daughter, Bridget, says, Mom, don't do the Michael Jackson voice. And so that means when I'm emotional and I may speak more softly rather than enunciate an important point. So, one woman every 9 seconds is assaulted, sometimes beaten to death by an intimate partner. This is a statistic that I came across. I was in the Huffington Post in October of 2014. Fortunately, I am a survivor. Unfortunately, I'm not the only one. I am here to help survivors move forward to recovery. I'm Suzanne Harmony. I am a published author. These are my books. I am an international speaker. I am a Reiki master. I am a psychic and a medium. Sometimes a psycho medium. I'm also happy to say that I'm a mother and a grandmother. And I am so happy to be here today to help you help yourselves and help others move forward in a time where, yes, we have a voice. Yes, it matters. And yes, unfortunately, the stigma now is all these women with their voices. I'm so tired of hearing it. Isn't it sad that that's already happening? I was interviewed by Preferred Company in New Jersey, and Joel, one of the interviewers with Marianne, said, you know, Suzanne, with all this hashtag Me Too and all the Hollywood people coming forward, telling their stories, I'm having a hard time with that, he said. And I want to ask you, you know, when's it going to change? What's going to change? And he said, my burning question is, if all of this is happening and nobody said anything, why do you stay? I was so glad he asked that question. He did, he said that. And my answer to him was, that's a question I, as someone who is being abused, brutally asked myself every day. Why do I stay? Why do I stay? What will it take? And you know, then they're nice for a moment. Or they remember what you like. Or they act really nice in front of other people and they say, maybe there is something wrong with me. Maybe I need to change. It'll get better tomorrow. The answer I gave Joel Merkel, at Preferred Company, was, we all have a threshold. We don't know it when we step into these murky waters of abuse, silence, fear, what that threshold will be. For me, was when I came home from hospital. I had delivered twins by myself. He was nowhere to be found. His mother drove me to the hospital that morning when I went for my last visit. I had begun to dilate. Our first daughter was with my parents. I called them and they were on their way merrily to celebrate this new invitation into our home, into our family. Until then, this was all a very happy fairy tale world because I didn't tell. I didn't tell anybody what was happening. I didn't tell anybody that on my 19th birthday, because I was in his city and I only knew his family, they were the only people whom I trusted to celebrate my 19th birthday with. And I grew up, my father being a police officer, very, very supervised. So no, I didn't touch alcohol before I was legal. I was 19. I bought a bottle of wine I invited my then ex-boyfriend to have dinner with me. I thought, and we discussed, we could be friends. Let's have a get together. We had been broken up for 3 months. Let's just do this. I felt confident. I'm a nice person. He's an okay guy. We can do this, right? We can be just friends. And I loved his sisters. They were all very different. And his family were okay too. His parents were pretty cool. So we had this dinner, which went well. Neither one of us liked the wine. So we didn't drink it. Not much. We had a taste and that was it. It was very civil. And upon closing the door with his departure, he pushed back. I looked at him and I didn't recognize him. He turned into somebody I didn't know at all. And before I knew it, he lifted me, pushed me down the hall, threw me onto my bed. In seconds, my clothes were off. I don't even know how. I heard myself scream rape. And I remember the fire in his eyes and the weight of his being on top of mine. And I felt trapped and hopeless and bewildered. This is someone I knew. This is someone I thought we were going to be friends. And then I found courage and I dug deep and I said, rape! And that was it. He put his arm into my mouth so I could no longer speak. And with the other hand, he poof, blew it across my head. I was then unconscious. I guess I was left for dead. The next morning, I awoke to the sound of my phone ringing. I was late for work. This was a definite Blue Monday. The echoing allowed me, and I felt myself, return to my body. And my consciousness became aware of aching everywhere. I was ice cold and naked and raw. I got to the phone. And as this young professional that I was, I said, yes, I'll be there in an hour. And I looked around and I saw that the door to my apartment was wide open. I reviewed the mess of my room and my clothes torn off. And my body, that didn't even feel like my own anymore, aching. I did everything wrong. I got into the shower. And as the water hit me, I began to pour tears. Tears of disbelief. Tears that my physical body ached. Tears that my innocence was stolen. My world was turned upside down. What do I do? So many people believe in me. I have a job. I told my parents I could do this. I have my own apartment. I'm 19. I didn't go back to university because I just wanted to take a year off. I was going to be a pediatrician. Now, I was going to be a mom. This rape resulted in pregnancy. How did I find out? This ex-boyfriend, now stalker, stopped me on my way home from work one day. He rolled down the window in his car. He yelled at me, and I just kept walking. And he pulled and he cut in front of me. And I looked around, and I knew we're in a public place. Nobody cared. I was frightened. I never wanted to see him again. I looked, and I saw the pearl-handled gun on the seat and his hand upon it. And he said, get in, we need to talk. Yes, there was a gun. Yes, I was afraid. Yes, I got in. I sat like a zombie, numb. And I listened to him say, hey, we're going to be parents. And I said, what? He said, you're pregnant. He said, you're telling me I'm pregnant. He said, you saw the doctor, right? And yes, I was in their city. I only knew their family doctor. Yes, I saw the doctor because I was being sick. I had migraines, of course, probably from the blow that I didn't tell the doctor it was from. I said it was the braces and they had been tightened. All of this, and he said that he called our family physician and asked if I was pregnant because we were trying. So then, of course, the doctor said, yes, congratulations. Susie's pregnant. And then my journey began. I surrendered my power to my abuser. He outlined how we were going to live out the rest of our days. Oh, and the threats with the gun. Hand on it. If you leave me, I will kill you. If you tell anyone the truth about our circumstances, I will kill you. I will kill anybody you tell as well. If you choose to abort this child, I will kill you. If you choose to have the child and leave me, I will follow you and I will kill you. So I agreed. I lied. I never lied in my life. I lied to my parents. I lied to the pastor. I lied to our community. I lived a lie for 2 years. That felt like 40. Why did I have another child? Why did I agree to this? This beautiful daughter of ours, my first daughter, was born with physical challenges. She has some abnormalities in her physical presentation, but she has the energy and love of an angel, as he is my Savior. She is that old soul who comes in to save us, the innocent. I'm grateful for her. Second child was anniversary present. What did he want? A son. I had to give him a son. More rape, more violence, more tension, more secrets. And where was he when I delivered? Yes, his son. Nowhere to be found. I brought a daughter home. I was pregnant for twins and didn't know. So my son, Chad, is my angel, because he gave me the courage then to leave with 2 children under 2 rather than 3. What was the threshold? In the time that I was in hospital delivering and recovering from delivery of these twins, he did find his way home. And he took opportunity that night while I was in hospital. My parents were asleep on the sofa bed in the living room, to rape our 22-month-old daughter. There's a threshold. I came home to the look on my parents' faces, only sharing what they heard and then what they saw when they put her on the potty. And they showed me. We sent him out to do groceries that he was supposed to have had done. Thankfully, he left. They begged me, come now, come with us. This is insane. But they didn't know he was going to kill us all. I found the courage to calm them as I'm breastfeeding my newborn. And I'm encouraging them, just go home, I'll figure it out. I'll be there, I'll be safe. Are you sure? Sure, I said, I'll be fine. So, he came home, I confronted him. His words were, when I said, so, her cut on her forehead, what is that from? And the bruise on her thigh. Oh, you know. She ended up not wanting to go to sleep, so she cuddled with me for a while. It could have been my belt. Okay, a belt on the forehead, that's great. And he said, he added to it, he said, did you know that I heard that little girls can pop their cherries by doing the splits? Where did that come from? I didn't ask about abuse. I didn't ask about penetration. But this was his comment. I knew then I had to go. So why am I here today? I'm here today to tell you how I survived this. I did get away. I got on a Greyhound bus. And I never looked back. And you know what? He didn't kill me. He didn't kill anybody. I freed myself from the power of believing his words, his threats. I knew nothing. I did reach out to the services. This was in the 80s. They were not connected. I'm happy to say that now there's communication amongst Their service is involved to rescue women like me with children. And I'm grateful for that. What I have to offer is an incredible program. It's called WTF. I know, not what you think it is. WTF stands for willing to forgive. Forgiveness is what allowed me to move forward. Forgiveness of myself. How do you forgive yourself? Becoming aware. Aware of all of the details of your life. And how many times have you hit repeat? So, accountability means no repeats. Be accountable for the events in your life. That's why this title is Because I Didn't Tell. It's not what happened to me. It's because I didn't tell, and why I didn't tell that things got worse. The ripple effect. The gems at the end of each chapter are, number 1, I now forgive myself for, and I bullet point the events in my life that I felt accountable for, and I did create change. That's taking action for your accountability and being responsible. The other gem at the end of each chapter is a pearl of wisdom. So for even those who perhaps, the rare ones who haven't experienced abuse, these are in high schools because they need to be there. It serves as a warning for those red flags that we sometimes ignore. One of the red flags that I didn't ignore, because I did break up with this monster of a man, was he was watching 2 dogs engaged in fornication, engaged in copulating. They were copulating. And he was watching them, and in an instant became so aroused. But the arousal continued, and he got on the phone and he called his grandfather. And they were both so excited talking about this, and I thought, this is really creepy. It was then that I broke up with him. Shame on me for thinking we could be friends. Why did I even want to be friends with somebody who was a little bit like that? So warn people, tell them of the signs, see the red flags for what they are. WTF stands for willing to forgive. Willing is an enthusiastic readiness. It's not something you're assigned to do. It's not something you signed up for. It's something that you're enthusiastically ready for. Enthusiasm means with spirit. So with your whole self and your whole awareness, you are willing to forgive. Only when I did the work on myself, I learned Reiki, I embraced Reiki, I healed myself on a physical level, mental, emotional, spiritual. All the spokes on the wheel were powerfully aligned, and I could roll on with life. And that forgiveness did allow me to forgive the actions. That person and the forgiveness towards him is a God job. That freed me. It's a God job. And you know what God did? God gave him another daughter. Another daughter whom I told the police about, because this was not a good experience. During my time, I had to send my children back for a proof visit. Please don't do that anymore. We got the proof. He hasn't touched this daughter because everyone in his family and the world around him knows. Unfortunately, he is a custodian in a school in this capital city. Where do you put a pedophile? So in this book, his name is Fidelipe. Fidelipe, unscramble that. What do you get? This one, Leap of Faith from Fear to Fulfillment, is a wonderful companion. It was written before this one. This was my healing journey after a stroke, and releasing it, getting it all out. Why is it in a pen name? Because the publishers needed to protect themselves and the predator. That's why his name is Fidelipe. And so, I Catch a Star is what this one is written in, and I love it because I catch a star. We have falling stars all the time. And when you catch a falling star and you put it in your pocket and you save it for a rainy day, I've had a lot of rainy days, but I've also seen the stars. And I look to the stars, and I too want to shine. And so this is how I do it. I hope this has helped you. I have in handouts the 10 tools to triumph abuse, which have been tools that helped me. These are also available on my site, so iCatchAStar.com. There are also, if you Google Catch a Star on YouTube, you can see other videos of interviews that I've had, radio and television interviews, and some vlogs that I've created to help people along their way. Sometimes I'm just inspired to share the wisdom that moves through me as a channel for truth, a channel for inspiration. Does anybody have any questions? You're either all very bored or thinking. Yes.
Well, first of all, thank you for sharing. About your daughter.
Yes.
Your grandson.
Yes. She is now a mother. I'm happy to say that I had 3 daughters, and so I did remarry. Oh, that second marriage, I learned a different kind of abuse, mental, emotional. Those scars take a long time to heal. And his top, what was the threshold for that horrific marriage of 10 years? Was when he raped me and used the words, "That's how you like it." That's what he did. That was the last time he ever touched me. So my daughter is fine. She is going to be 37 this year. And yes, she has had emotional turmoil, but she is also very strong. All of them are. I raised my children. I was raised to be seen and not heard. And being a psychic and a person that I am, I saw a lot of things that nobody else saw and people didn't understand, so they just kept telling me to be quiet, you know. And what I was seeing were warning signs, and I wanted to share it, but nobody wanted to listen. Each of my children have a child. They're all very beautiful. There's Journey, Trip, and Cash. And there's a whole other love that opens up when you become a grandparent. And it's just such a relief. There's also other people to have in your world to pray for, to really speak your truth and to teach them the steps along the way and to listen to, because they have a lot to say. Any other questions? Did I answer okay for you? You feel good? She's awesome. Yes?
Does your book explain about warning signs that you came across looking back on the abuse from before, like as you went through it?
Yes.
And then reflecting back on how it was. Can you talk about those warning signs? Because I think that would be very helpful for our transition.
Absolutely. I do. It is very raw and very real. And I don't talk about him. Somebody said, well, it could have been good to have a chapter about him. And I thought he's not worth it. Thank you. And I think some people are looking for an excuse for his behavior, and everything is of choice in the moment. Obviously, in hindsight, 37 years later, I know that he was angry and wanted to possess me. He also knew that I wasn't on any birth control. We had been broken up. He knew my cycle. This was perfect for him to take ownership of me. And then he would win. He hasn't seen his children in 35 years, 34. And he does, I don't know if he knows he's a grandfather. That's good job. Thank you.